Edward stared at her quivering lower lip, watched smugly as her upper teeth sank into her fleshy mouth, biting with equal levels of anticipation and apprehension. Slowly he reached down and grasped her wrist, felt the tremors run through her wonderfully wanting body, and lifted her hand to his mouth. Kissed her palm gently, tenderly, with no hint of the aggression that he expected to follow before guiding her trembling fingers across the firmness of his chest, toward his taut abdomen and nearer, ever nearer to his expectant erection.
For fuck's sake. Expectant erection. The fuck are you doing? Wasn't supposed to be like this, you know. Just sort of happened. By accident. Do you know what I read? Dickens, Tolstoy, Shakespeare, Will Sell. I don't remember buying. Joyce, Keats, Larkin, Sylvia Plath, Dylan Thomas. I'm a well-read man. I know what to read and why I should read it. I mean, I'm educated. I understand. And what do I write? Nearer, ever nearer his expectant erection. I write shit all day, like every day. I write shit. I blame Liam Gallagher. Not legendary Britpop vocalist Liam Gallagher. That'd be mental. No, my Liam was a guy I first met at uni. Nice bloke. From Belfast originally, but stayed here after he graduated. Got a job in insurance. Wasn't afraid to sell any old crap to people who didn't need it. Just waiting for a mis-selling scandal to catch up with you.
Never happened, mate.
So Liam and I go for a pint every now and again, you know, a little catch-up, that sort of thing. And no football, mind. He's a Blackpool fan, weirdly. So he doesn't enjoy the success of others, and let's face it, anything's a success compared to Blackpool.
Well, no, that's hardly fair, because we've had our moments, haven't we?
No gigs either. My Liam had terrible taste in music. The only thing he used to listen to was that awful Norwegian death metal. Unlistenable. I mean, utterly unlistenable.
I'll not tell you again, there is nothing wrong with metal.
So my band days, my glory days, I suppose you could call them, were spent in the company of others. It's a good job they were too, otherwise I wouldn't have met Sarah. So, Liam, we go for a pint a few years ago and he starts winding me up.
Have you, seen the new car?
Nope.
Audi TT. Gorgeous. Pearl white. 18-inch alloys. Oh, she's the business, all right. I'm telling you, son. So, what are you driving these days?
You know what I'm driving.
Still on the bus then, yeah?
Still on the bus.
You ought to get in with me, mate. Easy, man.
Dirty money.
No. I never forced anyone to buy anything. I just present a rather compelling argument.
And he goes on like this for a while. And then somewhere around about his 8th pint, decent drinker, by the way, Liam, knows how to handle his ale. Anyway, he suddenly blurts out,
Mummy porn.
where? What?
Mummy porn. There's a fortune to be made in mummy porn. Sure, look at that 50 Shades bird.
Bird? Who still calls women birds?
I do, and they bloody love it, mate.
Do they?
I'm telling you something. No complaints yet. You ought to give it a go. Seriously, big man. But, anyway, take a look at that 50 Shades bird.
What about her?
Well, she's worth a bloody fortune, isn't she?
Yeah,
And are you telling me that she's a better writer than you? Have you read those books?
So of course I've not read the books.
But you've heard of them, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard of them. Everyone's heard of them. You can't avoid the sodding things.
And she's made a few quid out of them, hasn't she?
She's richer than the Queen.
Exactly. They're awful. Dross, right? Terribly written. No stories, just endless bloody shagging, and her wittering on about getting in touch with her inner goddess or some such shite. But, by Christ, Jimmy, my boy, they don't have the desired effect, if you know what I mean. Powerful stuff.
And he starts giving me a graphic description of this night he spent with his student nurse from Arbroath. Half a bottle of wine and most of the Anne Summers catalogue. Trust me, you don't need that in your life. Or maybe you do. In which case you probably own one of my books.
So what I'm trying to say is,
Right.
long story short, if she can't write, you don't think that she can write, do you?
I don't know, I've not read the books.
Right, well let's take it that you trust your Uncle Liam on this one, and that she can't write.
Right.
So, if she can't write, and she's made all that money from not being able to write, then surely you can make a few quid from being able to write.
Yeah, but I don't want to write porn.
Do you want to eat every night, son?
As arguments go, that was actually fairly compelling. So, I bought a copy of the first book. For research purposes, obviously, perverts. And the second, and then the third. Jesus Christ, they don't get any better, do they? Excruciating writing, terrible characterisation, awful plot, unlikely sex, shitloads of money. Cheers. So, I had an idea. Sorry, excuse me. Hello, Pam? Yeah. No, it's going really well, yeah. No, it's a little bit snowed under at the moment. No, definitely have it ready for the 15th, if not sooner. Yeah. I know. You what? Say that again. Well, how much? No, seriously, how much? Wait, If they want it, they'll pay for it. Pam, it won't matter anyway, love. It'll never get made. It'll get shown at some moody cinema in Amsterdam. They'll what? For all of it. Pam, Pam, there's nothing but sex, love. There'll be nothing left. Well, no, I'm not complaining. No, I mean, more fool them. Ask for more money, since they're desecrating my work. Sorry, her work. Yeah. All right, Pam. Tuesday. Yeah, Paul's thing. Okay. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Pam. Bloody hell. There we go. A film. I am now apparently making a film. A motion picture. Tinseltown, all the trimmings, red carpets. Not that I get to walk them, of course. Where was I? I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Quite a few ideas, actually. But I think that might have been my problem. There were so many things that I wanted to do that I never did any of them. I never committed. I wanted to write the great American novel. Quite fancied the idea of being Thomas Pynchon. You know, all mysterious and reclusive, disappearing from the shelves for years before issuing another impenetrable missive from my subconscious. Now, of course, I am completely unknown and invisible, and my subconscious is full of nothing but penetration. Ugh. I got a first in English and creative writing. Quite pleased, actually. Found a flat and got a job in a coffee shop, and for a while, that's what I did. For a while, that's who I was. I was a guy who worked in a coffee shop. Tried a few things, of course, you know, writing competitions, sent a few bits off on spec, wrote some books that nobody read, some plays that nobody saw, film scripts half finished, poetry never started, and then Liam and I went for that pint, he had that idea, and everything changed. Sometimes I wish it happened. So, as I said, I bought a copy of the books, I read the books, and I thought to myself, I can do that. So I did. I sat at the desk, this desk, right here. This is where the magic happens. And I started to write. Didn't take much. It's a little bit of imagination. And let's face it, I mean, I'm a bloke. I mean, my imagination's made for this sort of thing. We start imagining young and we never really stop. I imagined that I was a bit of a bastard. You see, at this point I had to imagine that I was a bastard. I didn't actually become a bastard until much later on. That's very important. I also imagined that I was a master of seduction. There were only 2 girls before Sarah, and neither one of them lasted very long, and neither one of them were what you would call a passionate affair. Jules lasted a month before she found someone more interesting. Suze came close to 6 months. Close enough to move in, close enough to realise that I am probably not the easiest person in the world to live with. Oh, and if we're being honest with each other, feel like we know each other now. If we're talking about inspiration, neither one of them are into anything unusual. And don't get me wrong, right? The sex was good, the sex was nice, the sex was normal. And I like normal. Normal's good. I genuinely believe that far more of us are normal than the internet and the media and your Cosmos and your fucking company magazines would have you believe. It's just this. Fuck. Normal doesn't sell. Doesn't sell my books anyway. Whips, chains, handcuffs, piercings, clamps. Physically impossible positions that you can't even describe without getting a crick in your neck. That's what sells these books. I mean, I've lost track of the number of private shops that I've been in the name of research. You know? The amount of vibrators and dildos and blow-up dolls and rings and tassels and gags that I've had to inspect just to get the finer details right. It's been hell. Fucking scoff all you like, love. It's been hellish. To start with, I wrote a short story called The Transit of Venus. All took place in a little London flat over the course of one weekend. 2 women, 1 man. and every possible permutation of the three. Sarah used to joke that I'd written it all from experience. But she didn't believe that. She used to say it to wind me up. She knew that I'd lived in London for a while and that I had a couple of flatmates who happened to be female, but nothing happened, okay? As I stand here before you, nothing happened. I didn't even think of them that way. Maybe I did like a little bit. Maybe that's exactly how I thought of them. Maybe that's where the book came from. Everything starts somewhere, right? All you ever really writing about is yourself. Maybe I spent a whole summer fantasising about the pair of them and never even realised it. So, it's getting hot then. I published Venus as an ebook. The following morning I got a phone call from a publisher. You see, what I didn't realise is that publishers have these people called scouts. And it is their job to seek out, and I quote, hot new talent. And I was apparently hot new talent. An hour later the phone rang again, and then again, and then again. It was mental. And then Pam rang. Pam, the woman I spoke to before. She rang and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I mean, obviously there were some strings attached. Yeah? Had to be a bit of bondage, didn't there? See, the problem is this. I don't exist. That's right, I don't exist. It seems that women won't buy this sort of book if it's written by a man. Now, I don't want to be disparaging to my wide readership, but it always struck me that if a woman was going to buy this kind of crap anyway, what difference would it make whose name was on the cover? Turns out the name on the cover is vitally important. If it's a man's name, the woman can feel threatened. If it's a woman's name, empowered. Now, I don't make the rules. I just have to live by them. So, James Wilkinson. I've just realised I haven't introduced myself, have I? I'm so sorry. James Wilkinson, very lovely to meet you all. James Wilkinson is not the name that you want on the cover of this particular book. I am therefore known to the rest of the world as T.E. Larkin. Terry, that's Terry with an I. Larkin, to my friends and lovers, who I am very secretive about. The T.E. stands for T.E. Lawrence, because my mother's favourite book was Lawrence of Arabia. Is that weird? Larkin because of Philip Larkin, so I can at least delude myself that I have some connection to real literature. She is, a 27-year-old divorcee working out of Manhattan. Worldly wise, sophisticated, and with a hint of a past tinged with sorrow and experience. So much more exotic than a 29-year-old ex-barista who lives in a house in Formby with a cat. Steph is a former model. Chic. Glamorous. The type of woman who one may suspect knows whereof she writes. So Pam hired, hilariously, an ex-glamour model called Stephanie Allen, who is, for all intents and purposes, me. Steph, I think I'm allowed to call her that. I'm not actually allowed to meet her in case the media get... When I say I'm not allowed to meet her. I've actually met her a bunch of times. I turn up to book signings in obscure locations, Dusseldorf, places like that, and get her to sign copies of my book.
Who should I make it out to?
Oh, could you write to James, thanks for everything, love Terry. Steph's on a flat fee retainer. A rather large...
Excuse me. You know you're not supposed to be here, don't you?
Don't worry about it, no one will know. Anyway, you're just you're a figment of my imagination. You're a flashback.
Oh, breaking the fourth wall. Well, aren't you the literary genius?
Give it a rest. Tell the boys and girls why we pay you so much.
So that I'll never be inclined to go public and blow my lifestyle out of the water.
And what do you do for your money, Steph?
Well, I travel the world, stay in the best hotels, drive fantastic cars, sign books, appear on chat shows, and quite possibly have all the sex he's imagining for me. Thanks, darling.
While I sit at home, read The Guardian online, watch a bit of Netflix. The weather's nice, I go for a walk on the beach. Sometimes I talk to the cat. And every now and then, I am called upon to spend another fortnight writing more shit. And I watch the money just rolling. I am the most famous person you'll ever meet, and you'll never know it. 4 books. 4 books so far. Venus, the birth of Venus, Venus falling, and Venus rising. Obviously any trace of the transit of Venus had to be removed as soon as the publishers got involved, but any real life person that read it never made the connection, and the media never got hold of it. And let's face it, the real author's not likely to sue, is he? So here we are, book 5, the 5th in the series. Now I'm so tempted to call it Venus as a boy, you know, like after the song. Finally out Venus as having been a hermaphrodite all along, and get rid of every last bloody reader. I'm so sick of the whole fucking thing. I know what you're thinking.
So let me get this straight, right? You have to write for, what, 4 weeks? 4 weeks of every year. And then for the other 48 weeks, you just do nothing. No promo tours, no interviews, nothing.
It's about the size of it, yeah.
And nobody knows it's you. Nobody knows your real name.
Again, you're right.
And you've already got a publisher, haven't you?
Yes, I have. You know I have. I know where this is going, you know.
So why don't you, just try this one on for size for just a minute, right? Why don't you just spend some time writing the stories that you actually want to write? Hmm? This lot would kill for your life, you bloody lucky
No, they won't.
bastard.
They think they would, but they wouldn't. Not really.
Try working in an office, eh? Try working in a shop.
That's not the
in
same
a
thing
bar.
at all.
Try being a social worker.
How
eh?
is that a
Try
fair
cleaning the
comparison?
roads. Try a normal job. Try a real job, Jimmy boy, and then you might have something to complain about. Unbelievable.
Come on then, the $1 million question. Literally, the $1 million question.
Well, man, I'll indulge you. How much money have you made from all this bloody misery you think you're going through?
At last count, 4 mil.
4 million.
4 million. Yeah.
4 million.
Doesn't matter how many times you say it.
4 million.
Yeah. That phone call before, that was worth about 500 grand.
You're kidding, for what?
For not even getting off my arse. For answering a phone and demanding more money. Hard to turn down, really, isn't it?
Do you know how bloody disgusting your attitude is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm not unhappy, though.
Oh, Jesus Christ. John, 2 more, please. Come on then, money bags. You're right.
So why don't I write the stories that I think are important? Why don't I produce quality work alongside the shit? Simple answer is, it's not there anymore. There's nothing there anymore. I move the mouse and I stare at a blank white screen, and all I can see is Venus Malone and Edward Hart and this mutually destructive relationship that I've created for the pair of them and all the victims that they leave behind. All I can see is fucking damage. And all I can create is more damage. That's what Sarah said. I've been playing in this band. And we were good. You know, decent, like. Not good enough to be stars, but good enough to get a few gigs around town, you know. And you know what it's like at gigs? You see the same faces, don't you? You know, family of the band and friends of the band and friends of friends of friends, and Sarah was a friend of the drummer's cousin. I didn't know her. The drummer didn't know her. She was just one of those people that you see from the stage. I bet you think that being on stage is a recipe for pulling women, don't you?
Well, isn't it?
No. Do you think it's really glamorous?
Isn't it?
Hang on, so you think that the musicians are on stage and they're going through their set and they're throwing their moves, and the whole time they're just looking at the crowd who they're going to pull at the end of the night?
Well, of course I do, aren't they?
No, not even close.
So go on then, what's it really like?
Well, you finish your set, and then you argue amongst yourselves about who got what wrong, and then you pack your gear away. Before you know it, you stood in an empty club, and anyone you wanted to cop off with copped off ages ago.
Well, it depends whether you're paying attention or not, doesn't it?
Anyway, 2 gigs running, I saw this girl. I mean, she was beautiful. Amazing smile.
Thank you very much.
How do you know I'm talking about you?
Well, of course you're talking about me. Who else was there?
Nobody. And you'd be stood like right down front, not right in front of the stage, but just close enough, not deliberate.
That's what you think.
She wasn't trying to be noticed.
Yes, I was.
Were you?
Yeah.
Anyway, I couldn't help but notice her. I mean, she was beautiful. Way out of my league. Anyway, it's one night after a show. The drummer's talking to his cousin. And there's these 2 girls stood there, waiting impatiently for a lift. I mean, politely impatient, but still impatient. And then Jed, the singer, gets up and launches into his usual routine. They've got the patter, haven't they, singers? On stage and off stage, cocky little bastards. Anyway, he jumps up and launches into his chat-up lines, and Karen, the little blonde girl, is hanging on his every word. But the other girl's just looking at me. I don't mean like staring, just sort of giving me a sideways glance. And like I said, she's way out of my league, but I think, fuck it. Don't ask. So I asked her. Hey!
Hi.
Did you enjoy the gig?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you were great.
Ah.
I've seen you a few times now.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed you.
You have?
Yeah. I would not notice you, could I? You gonna come to the next gig?
Yeah, probably. When is it?
I have absolutely no idea. I've got no idea.
So, how will I find out then? You can always ring me.
So I got a number,
He's a little slow, but he gets there eventually.
and we didn't look back. Jed and Karen lasted a fortnight. I mean, it was a fucking car crash. But Sarah and I worked straight away. I was living on my own since Sue's moved down. A couple of months later, she moved in. And I was a good boyfriend. I mean, I was a fucking good boyfriend. I was even tidy. I mean, I know, to look at it, it doesn't look like I am, but this is my room. This is my stuff. This is my clutter. I work better with clutter. You should see the rest of the house. I've just realised you haven't seen the rest of the house, have you? Of course you haven't. Stupid. It's pristine. This was my one big indulgence. 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, massive kitchen, lovely garden, big TV on the wall. Yeah. That's how I spent my first $1 million. Well, not quite $1 million. Mortgage like you wouldn't believe, but worth every penny. This was the house I built for us. The house that Sarah left behind. I should ring it, shouldn't I? Hi, Marie, it's... Yeah. No, I know, I just... Well, no, I know you are, I don't mean... sorry. Well, can I... Look, I've had missed calls on my phone. Has she been trying to ring me? Well, can I speak to her, please? Well, could you just let her know that I'm on the phone? Hello? Hey, it's me. You okay?
What do you think?
No. Stupid question. Sarah, I am so sorry.
You've said you're sorry, and you keep saying you're sorry. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
I know, I miss you. I really miss you. I just want you back.
You need to sort yourself out, Jake.
Yeah, I know I do. But I can change. I will change.
It's easy to say that.
Can't we just
what?
Can't we just talk?
What, on the phone?
No.
Look, I'm not talking on the
No,
phone.
I don't mean
Jake.
I don't mean on the phone.
Well, what then?
Well, can I see you?
You can't come round here.
No. No, I don't think I could face your parents anyway.
And you think they'd want to see you?
No, I'm sure they wouldn't.
So,
Well, I mean, you could come round here.
when?
Well, whenever. Like, whenever's good for you.
I don't know, Jay. I mean, is it safe?
What do you mean is it safe? Of course it's safe. What do you think I'm going to do to you?
Well, I don't know anymore, do I? You scared me, Jay.
I know. And I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry.
Stop saying that.
I know that I've got no right to ask.
Yeah, you've got no right. You want this conversation, you want to do this, then fine. What about tonight?
Tonight, yeah. Yeah, tonight's great.
Alright then. Well, give me half an hour then.
Okay, I'll see you then. I love you. Probably not a good idea. You're wondering, aren't you? How things got so bad. How it came to this. Who I was screwing on the side. Nobody, by the way. I managed to fuck this up all by myself. First year was fantastic. I got a really healthy advance on the first book. Quit my job. Knocked the book out in a fortnight. And then Sarah and I spent a couple of months just buggering around in the States. Hired a Cadillac, did the whole coast to coast thing, you know. Nashville, Graceland, Vegas. I won 15 grand one night in Vegas. Blew it all the next 3 nights. Didn't matter though. Money wasn't the point. Money wasn't the point then. Came home and the first of the checks were arriving and Pam's asking for the second book. Again, I knocked that out in a fortnight. And Sarah and I start talking about getting somewhere decent. You know, we plan for the proper novel that I'm going to write. The film scripts that I'm going to put some real time into. And then the third book's due. And we buy this place. We started talking about having a family. But I didn't want my son or daughter born to a guy who writes this kind of shit for him. I wanted him to be proud of me, you know? What's your dad do for a living? Oh, he's a writer. Oh, what sort of stuff does he buy? Oh, you know them books your mum hides on the top shelf? Yeah, I didn't want that. I wanted him to go to a library and be like, my dad wrote that. So we put the idea on hold for a while. And then a while longer. The third book broke big. I mean, really big. The money is just pouring in.
My retainer's getting larger by the week. The papers all want to talk to me.
Yeah, but that's not entirely true, is it, Steph? They want to talk to me. They want to talk to the actual writer.
Darling, we've done this. I do the papers, I do the chat shows.
Yeah, and I stay at home and try and write a proper novel. Yeah, I know.
And your problem is?
My problem, Steph, is that you seem to be having all the fun without doing any of the work.
Apart from this is actually extremely demanding work. Just a touch jealous.
Yeah, I am jealous, actually. Except it's weirdly like being jealous of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
No, to be completely honest, you're babbling.
Do you want to appear and let him in?
Well, yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but if you did, then the books wouldn't be selling, would they?
Yeah, I know. You're right. I know, you're right. And I'm still trying to write my novel. But it's crap. And I don't mean crap in the way that the books are crap, like I know they're crap. They're supposed to be crap, that's their job. But this, like I really wanted this to be good, but it's not, it's just shit. And then I realised, it's me. I am genuinely not very good at this. I've reached my peak. I am now the sort of writer who I look down upon. This is as good as it's ever going to get. This is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. And at this point, money doesn't even come into the equation. I know what you're thinking. Yeah? You might be miserable, but you're miserable in luxury. I'm still fucking miserable though. Fuck it. I down tools. Looking back, I think this is when the depression set in. Glad you find it fucking funny. I mean, I'm loaded. I mean, I'm richer than I've got any right to be. And I'm sat on my sofa and I'm watching daytime TV. I'm watching fucking This Morning and Jeremy Kyle makeover shows. I'm shaving points off my IQ. And then I start having a little glass of wine when I'm making dinner in the evening. You know, and then that becomes a little glass of wine with lunch. And before I know it, I'm staying in bed till midday. And Sarah's spending as much time away from me as she can. She's seeing her friends. She's hanging out with her mother a lot. And I can't blame her. I mean, I wouldn't want to be around me. The call from Pam to get the fourth book finished came as a bit of a relief, you know? Made me sort myself out. For a while at least. The book was horrible. Nasty. I made the characters do all sorts of horrible shit to each other. Physically, mentally, fucking spiritually. I poured every ounce of bile that I could muster into that book. It was genuinely hateful. Obviously it outsold all the others. And I respond by falling them back into my old habits. Keeping odd hours, drinking a bit, going to the pub at lunchtime and staying there as long as I can get anyone to talk to me. I can't even tell them what I do. I can't tell them who I am. Can't very well say, oh, you know that woman on the telly, the writer. She's me, I'm her. Sounds mental when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Last month, Pam rang again. Book 5, please. Book fucking 5. Remember me saying before, that I could knock these books out in a fortnight, yeah? 5 weeks now and I've written 10 pages. Told her before I'd have it ready for the 15th. That's not going to happen. Probably never finish it. Now there's an idea. Just stop. Give up. Kill off. Terry Larkin. Get Steph to do the chat shows and explain why she's decided to stop writing. Put her on Graham Norton's fucking sofa and explain why she's killing off Venus Malone. Make her earn her money for a change. And if she decides to break rank, right, and tell the truth, I mean, like, what's the worst they're going to do? Take the money back? I'd never have to write another book. I mean, seriously, who gives a fuck? Never have to write another sentence about Edward's strong, thrusting man. "10 pages in. I was 10 pages in when Sarah left. Scrap that, started again. Scrap that, started again. And again, and again. At my last count, I am on my 15th version of 10 pages in. Maybe I could just lump the whole lot together and just call the book Will This Do? For the first couple of weeks, I was sleeping until midday. I was getting up, a little bit of breakfast, going to the pub, coming home, a bit of dinner, working till about midnight. And slowly that started to slip back. And gradually, I'm staying up until 2, and then 4, and then 5. Obviously there were conversations about my lifestyle. Sarah wasn't happy. I mean, I get that. I mean, they're not normal hours, but then this isn't a normal life, you know? This isn't a normal situation. Anyway, we had an intervention, I suppose you could call it. Beginning of the 3rd week.
You need to sort yourself out, Jay.
Yeah, I know.
Start working normal hours.
Yeah, I know.
Stop going to the pub.
I know.
Well, if you know, then why'd you keep bloody doing it?
That's the part I don't know. Come on, cheer up.
Don't try and get round me by being funny, Jay. It doesn't work anymore. Look, why don't you write this one? See where we're at the end of this and then where we're going to go going forward, yeah?
All a bit corporate bullshit for me, but the upshot is we decide that I will only work during the daytime and that I'll cut down on my drinking. Obviously that's worked. 2 days. 2 days I lasted, and then I was straight down the ale house and rolling in, pissed at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the evening, not the morning. I'm not a monster. And proclaiming that I was ready to satisfy the needs of all the lonely, bored, horny housewives of the literary world. Me, Venus Malone, and Edward Hart. Their husbands couldn't do it for them, and I sure as fuck would. That was when it really kicked off. I mean, Sarah had been quiet for ages. I mean, can you imagine the shit that she'd been through? All the maudlin self-pity. All the woe is me and the world doesn't understand me. I'm better than this. She never said a word. Not one negative thing, nothing. Never threatened to leave if I didn't book my ideas up. All she did was try and support me. And then when she couldn't support me anymore, she avoided me. And I didn't even notice. All she did was love me, try and help me. Did I take any of that into account? Did I fuck?
Just stop writing. Just stop, you don't enjoy it anymore.
What am I supposed to do instead, Sarah?
I don't know. Something else. Anything else. Just take the time to decide what you want to be.
I want to be a writer.
You already are a writer, Jim.
No, I don't want to be this kind of writer.
I can't do this anymore. It's dragging me down. All this self-pity. Bullshit. No, I don't care how unhappy you think
I'll
you
stop
are.
it.
But you're making
Just
me
stop
I mean,
it,
look
all
what
right?
you're doing to us, Jay. Look what you're doing to me.
How dare you? How fucking dare you? Look around you! Look at this easy fucking life that I've given you! I didn't want any of this! You wanted this! And look what it's doing to you! Look what it's fucking doing to me! Look at everything that I've had to do to give you this!
I'm sorry.
There weren't many more words that night. I'd love to tell you that I tried to apologise. Tried to make things right. But I didn't. I ranted and raved outside the bedroom door while she cried on my bed. The following morning she got up and went to her mum's and I didn't even notice. I was too busy sleeping it off on the couch. I rang her mum's house. Mum just hung up. Her dad rang me back though. Threatened to kill me. I spent weeks ringing her, begging her, pleading with her to come home. Nothing. So I went off the deep end. I mean, the drinking that I had done before was nothing compared to this. I was a mess. A couple of days ago, I bumped into her friend Gemma in the village. And I was a state. I mean, I was hungover, I was unshaven, I was pathetic. Gemma's one of the good guys. She took pity on me when I definitely didn't deserve it. Took me for a coffee, talked to me, Told me exactly what I'd done wrong, exactly how bad Sarah was, and I just broke down. Sobbing in the middle of Costa. Must have looked a right sight. I said to her, I told her, I said, I know what a bastard I've been. Sarah's the only girl I've ever loved, and that I would do anything to get her back. I asked her to speak to Sarah for me, just tell her how shitty I felt about everything. Those phone calls before, that was her trying to ring me. I didn't even have the balls to answer it. I was too scared. Scared that it'd be over. I was scared that'd be it. But she's coming. I know she is. So I've made an effort, I've tidied myself up a bit. And I've been staying in. I've been getting on with the work. I don't know what you're thinking. The work. Why do it if you hate it so much? I just thought that if I can finish this and get on with something proper, if I can control it instead of it controlling me, then she's going to see that I've changed. I haven't stopped drinking, but I've slowed down. And I can stop. I will stop. For her, I'll stop. And then she's going to see that that person wasn't me. And then she's going to learn to trust me again, and then we're going to be us again. None of this matters. None of this matters. There's only one thing that matters.
Venus rubbed one stocking-clad ankle softly against the other as she watched Edward manipulate the woman's grasp toward the part of him that she herself desired most. She spread her legs slightly, stroked one silk-gloved hand along her inner thigh, and dreamt of her own imminent pleasure.
No. Let's do this properly.
The small boat bobbed gently, silently, in the lightly crested waves. The man seated at the stern, his hand tracing lazy lines in the water, his face dappled with the ocean's spray, gazed towards the shore. He knew what would be waiting there. There had been mistakes. There are always mistakes. He knew his weaknesses, knew his imperfections, but there was hope. There is always hope.